All right, welcome back, good people. This is another episode of Speak with Larry's podcast. This episode, I want to talk about the difficulties that you're going to encounter once you decide to start a business, or write a book, or create a podcast show, or do anything different that you're not doing right now. What happens is the people around you will begin to, look at you a certain kind of way because you're actually on track for what it is that you're trying to get done. You know where you're trying to go, but they don't have a clue. But you hadn't always been like that. So since you hadn't always been like that, when they see you doing something different, that makes them feel a certain kind of way, right? Now, if you don't have the fortitude or the stick-to-itiveness to continue on, they'll pull you back in. That crowd that you were with, not that they're a bad crowd or anything like that. It's just the way things work. They'll pull you back in, and that won't allow you to grow because that's where you're comfortable, and where you're comfortable, there's no growth. So on this podcast, I really want to talk about you stepping outside of that zone, you being able to be the best you that you can be. And only you can do that. And only you will do that, or you won't. It's not a team effort, it's one person. Because growing a business and starting anything new is difficult. It's very, very difficult. And with the advent of the internet and people trying to make so much money online, people have a tendency to want to try and sell you things that are like get rich quick or overnight successes. Don't get me confused. Those do happen, but not the norm. That is not the norm. Normally, what happens is people will get 90 days, a year, maybe 2 years in, and then they'll turn around and do something else because it is difficult and the money is not coming to sustain that growth that's necessary to take you to the next level. Now, should that be a deal breaker? Absolutely not, because this is what you want. It's not like you shouldn't be doing this because you've done the research. You took the time out to identify how it makes you feel and if it's something that you're willing to put the effort into. But you still have to put the effort into it. And don't get discouraged when things are not going as rapidly or you're not becoming as successful as you would like to be. Because it is a process. Sometimes it takes years with an S. I'm actually 9 years in my business, 9 calendar years. Now, I've done a lot of things in the process, write books, create videos, spoke at different events and things like that. But there's more, right? There's more to it. You can always add other streams of income. And I'm going to talk more about that on other podcasts. But I want to talk specifically about you starting on this podcast. You should start something. We're in the 21st century where what I'm doing right now is not like you can't do it. You can do the exact same thing that I'm doing. The only thing is you have to begin. Now, when you begin something, you're going to make mistakes and you're not going to be real good at it. You shouldn't be because you hadn't put in any time, right? It's like a gatekeeper that requires you to put in the time and the effort or you don't get the results, right? So you want to focus on putting in the time and the effort, but along that journey, you also want to meet people, right? You want to communicate with people who are good at this, who are good at that, who can assist you with this, who can guide you to that, right? You have to do those things like that. And you have to do that. No one else, because it's no one else's responsibility and no one else's job, right? Now, on these podcast episodes, I really want to make them like bite-sized podcast episodes, if you will. In other words, I don't want them to go, an hour and a half, 2 hours long. I want them to be like 10 minutes or less. That way, not only do you get a chance to listen to different subjects, but you also get a chance to listen to more subjects, right? Because in my understanding, the more informed or the better informed you are, the better decisions you make in life. So I want to be able to talk about several different topics. Not that I'm an expert, it's just sometimes bringing things to light will cause things in your mind to start to think a different way, right? And that's what you should. You should be always thinking about how you can do things better or make yourself better. Personal development is very important when it comes to growing a business. You have to look at yourself as someone who is worthy of having what it is that you're trying to accomplish. A lot of people won't step up to the plate because something deep within them makes them feel as if they're not worthy of something. And there are a lot of people who feel that way. Mental illness is very real. And you don't know who that person is until you actually encounter a situation with that person where they can't actually pull back from something. You know what I'm saying? Or they take things too far. Have you ever experienced that with people? Not necessarily directly, but just observing. I've observed people who just take it just a little too far. I mean, it's not necessary to, come on, now pull back. You have to be able to control that part, that emotional part, yeah, because it's not about that. So as you grow, you get to identify that when you see it, and you're also able to control that within yourself, right? Now, this is my podcast day, so I've got several podcasts to make. So I want to just end this podcast by saying start something today. Start something today. Start something today. And then you can monitor the results. Just, if you're going to make a 2-minute video clip, make a 2-minute video clip, play it back, see what you can do to make it better. Look at your surroundings, set up a different set so that you can get your message out. Now that's on the next level. The first level is just to get the message out. What message do you want to get out to your people? What people, right? You don't have people yet. But once you create a video or an audio or a blog, you're going to start to acquire an audience. People are going to start to listen or view, and they're going to comment, like or dislike, share. All that's part of the game that's being played today. So start and then monitor the results. And I'll talk to you on the next video.